Alright, what's up? This is my first time doing a video like this on YouTube. As the title says, I was in Asia for like 3 weeks just bucking around, and I'm still very tired and jet lagged, but I wanted to get around to doing this video just because a lot of people have been asking about it. But February just ended. We ended the month off at $45,000 in sales, which is pretty good considering I wasn't on my laptop at all. I wasn't doing any posting. We weren't doing any big marketing. This is just website open $45,000, which I think is pretty fucking good. And I'm not trying to make this video to like flex or show off or anything. I've just been doing clothing for a while now, and I think that there's a lot of things that people kind of overcomplicate when it comes to scaling your brand or trying to get to like 10K months, which is why I want to give away some free sauce, because I think running a brand is not as hard as everyone makes it sound, and I think getting rich off clothing is sick as fuck. So hopefully if I can do it, you can do it too. And hopefully this is helpful, because I think I started my brand like a lot of you guys. I started in school. I was down to like my last $2,000, $3,000 in the bank account. I'm not an influencer. I started with 0 followers. I only started making content after I've been doing the brand for a while. I don't have any experience in fashion. I don't know a lot of people or have connections for like marketing. Literally just started as a nobody, was able to scale my brand up to where it is now, which hopefully can be a lesson for you guys. All right, I think that's enough of an intro. In the next 8 minutes, I'm going to be talking about everything I did to get my brand to 45K in sales this month while basically doing no work. All right, here's my Shopify dashboard. Just so you guys can see, month of February, we did $45,000 in sales, around 42,000 sessions, and close to 500 orders, all while I was basically not doing anything. In my opinion, getting your brand from like $0 to 10K, 20K, 30K a month doesn't really require that much hard work. There's only really like 3 main factors that kind of affect your ability to get your brand to scale to like 5-figure months. And most people try to pretend it's a lot more than this, but I think it really just comes down to things like good product, influencer marketing, and ads. These are the biggest 3 things. This is pretty much all that I did this month to really get to these numbers. And I think it's really all you need at a small scale to start growing your brand. You don't need to overcomplicate it. It's not that difficult. The first one is good product. I think most people I see that don't get sales just have like shitty products. And most people I don't think are ready to hear that. If you're having a hard time selling your product and people in your comments are just telling you like your clothes look like shit, maybe your clothes just look like shit. I know it's a crazy idea, but maybe it's like your product is bad. That's why no one wants to buy it. The second one is influencer marketing. Like I said before, having followers makes running a brand way easier. But when you don't have followers, this is pretty much the next best thing that you can do. And last is ads. This is, in my opinion, the biggest thing that stops smaller brands from getting to like 10K months, because most people are scared to spend money every day because it gets pretty intimidating when you're putting down like $100, $500 every single day onto ads and you don't know what they're going to do. But this was the really big difference maker for us that helped us even in off months when we're not dropping, no new products are going out, we're still consistently getting sales that are almost as much as we're doing on like drop days. And I know there's a lot of people who try to talk about just like spamming organic content and trying to just go viral that way. But unless you're already an influencer or you cracked doing social media, like it's just not consistent. If you can't guarantee you're going to get a viral video like every week, then it's just not going to work. Like this is my ads manager right here. As you can see, in the month of February, we spent $13,000 and reported got back 32,000. This number is a little bit lower than it actually is because of like data privacy stuff. Meta can't always perfectly track the amount of sales you're actually getting. We had $45,000 in sales this month. I don't think any of it is coming from anything other than ads. So pretty much we spent around $13,000 and we got back 45,000, which I think for anyone is really good. Like obviously spending $13,000 is scary and my credit card balance is disgusting. But if you can guarantee you're going to be getting back like $40,000, $50,000, then like why wouldn't you spend that money? But yeah, ads is going to be your biggest difference maker, but you do need the other 2 things like good product and good influencer marketing to make sure that your ads can perform as well as they have to. So let's just talk about everything I did. Again, I don't think it's that complicated, and I'll break it down sort of like all the steps that I was taking with each of these things to make sure I was doing everything correctly and get to those numbers. The first one is just having good products. Obviously, what's considered good design is subjective, so I'm not going to tell you like what looks good and what doesn't, but finding good product is important. No one's going to buy your clothes if they look like shit. Like this is my website. I'm not going to go into like website optimization in this video, but my page is pretty simple. It's just this video, a lot of products, influencers, and then more products. Pretty basic. You don't need to go super complicated on your website as long as it's easy to check out. I hear a lot of people talk about like really cleaning up your website and making it pretty, but considering most of your traffic is coming from social media anyways, it's not that important. As long as your website doesn't look like garbage, it's going to be fine. So these are the products that we've basically been selling for all of February that we dropped in January, and they've been pretty much responsible for all the sales that we've had this month. But the trick is you really don't have any way of knowing if your product is good by just looking at it. You need to get customer feedback to actually know like what is your winning products. So there's three main ways that I think about finding good products. I'll go through all three of them, but the first one is whether or not my demographic would actually like it. You need to know if your customer would actually want to wear your clothes before you make any designs. Because, you know, like someone who buys from Fila is not the same person that's going to buy from my brand. It's a completely different market, which is why our products have to look completely different. The second one is it eye-catching? If I saw this product on Instagram or on TikTok, would I pause? I don't need it to be so eye-catching that like it goes viral, but is it actually like a noticeable product? And the third thing is finding your winners. This is, I think, the most important part. It's your actual test of whether or not your products are good products, right? Like I can look at my shirt, post it on TikTok, and then disagree with everyone in my comments and tell them like, this is actually a really good shirt. You just don't know what you're talking about. But if they're not going to buy it, there's no point in me trying to convince someone that I have a good product. The way you know if a product is good is if people buy it. Like in January, I dropped, I think, 10 or 12 new items. And the point of that drop isn't because we want every single item to be a winner. We're trying to figure out like what are the two big items in that drop that are going to make us the most money. In that drop, we've released a whole bunch of things, and you can tell like some of these are not going to do as well as the other ones, because like this t-shirt is pretty simple. There's not that much going on. It's not going to be a winning product, which we kind of knew beforehand. But these two products did a lot better, and I went into it thinking that this jacket was going to be like our number one item, but it didn't do as well as this one. And in February, we're not going to waste money on trying to like die on the hill of proving that this is a good product. We're just going to put all the money back into inventory for what's actually selling. This product is responsible for probably like $30,000 of the sales we had in February. The big thing I'd say on finding good product is just don't get over attached to your designs. Like this shirt is my favorite shirt. This is my favorite design that I've ever made. It took the longest to make. I think it's the coolest design I've ever done, but it didn't sell that well, so I don't care about it anymore. Because I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince people that like this is the one that I actually want them to buy, even if it took me more time, which sucks. Wasting your time on products that aren't doing well is just not worth it. Like your focus on each of your collections should be to do a wide range of products so you can actually see a difference in like what can do well and what doesn't, and then double down on what works. And next is influencer marketing. Most people who are running like smaller brands just don't know what the fuck they're doing with influencer marketing. Everyone's just trying to chase follower counts, and because of that, like they're getting scammed by people on Instagram. They're getting influencers that make no impact to their sales, and they're just not getting the right people. Influencer marketing is super important because it acts as both like the social proof to show people this brand is actually legit because you don't have enough name recognition to be successful yet, and it does your marketing at the same time because they're posting it on their stories. Maybe they're tagging you. You can use it as ads. You can post it yourself on your feed. Influencer marketing is just such a big difference maker. It's the biggest thing that got my brand to be successful in the first place, and I just feel like most people do not approach it in the right way. Like this is my Instagram, and I've focused a ton on influencer marketing, and we've had people been very successful in like Twitch, people with like over 1 million followers on TikTok. We've been in commercials, different things like that, but we've also worked with people who are like around 10K followers on Instagram. I think what people don't realize when it comes to influencer marketing is that the follower count is the third most important thing. And the ones that come above that are things like, do they match your demographic, and are they within reach? These are the two most important things that I always think about when it comes to influencer marketing. So working with influencers that make sense for your brand is super important. For example, one of the biggest influencers that I've ever worked with had like 1.5 million followers, but he was a motivational speaker, like a dating coach for guys that couldn't talk to fucking girls, which is like fine, but it doesn't make sense with what my brand is. So having some guy who just like walks around Santa Monica, tries to rizz up girls is not the right person to try to market our clothes. I think he posted us like a total of 10 times and we got maybe 100 followers and like 2 sales, which is fucking dumb. Like the product market fit of your influencers you try to work with is way more important than the follower count. And that also leads to the second point, which is, are those people within reach for you? Like don't be a dumbass. Don't avoid giving away free products to people just because you don't think they're big enough to work with you. It doesn't make sense because you're not big enough to have that kind of leverage. And I think I send out like, even now, I send out like 50 DMs a day to different influencers, athletes, celebrities, because because most people don't respond. I could reach out to people with 20,000 followers and still never hear back from them. In influencer marketing, there's way too much saturation. And because of that, the value of each person's followers matters a lot less. But like the big thing here is we started off only reaching out to much smaller influencers that actually like made sense with our brand. Like I'm talking to DDG right now. He's trying to charge us 30K and I'm not gonna fucking pay someone 30K for a story post. I sent out like 50 PR packages in January. So in February, we had a bunch of different options to use for ads. Like I have videos from this month alone where we spent like, yeah, $122 spent on that model video and it got us back $629 in sales. Another one, we spent $900. We got back 2.3. The value of influencers is so much bigger than people realize, and in both of these cases, it's very different. This video is a much bigger influencer than this one, but they're getting us really good sales in both cases, so there's not a reason why you should only want to work with one. Both options are going to help you, especially at a smaller level. I think influencers is just such an overlooked part of new brands because everyone is obsessed with getting like fucking A-list celebrities in their clothes, but you don't have access to those people yet. It's going to take a while before you can even get that access if you ever do. And the last thing we have is ads. This is where we made most of our money in the month of February, but it depends a lot on having a good product and good influencer marketing to actually be successful. You can have the best, most attractive ad, but if the product itself isn't good or there's not social proof to go behind it, there's no reason anyone's ever going to buy from your brand. I'm not going to go super into detail on ads, but I do want to talk about it a little bit because I know not everyone knows how to use Meta. First of all, use Meta. Don't fucking use Instagram Boosts. Boost is like the in-app promotion stuff. It fucking sucks. It's not built to get you sales. It's getting you like mostly followers to see your post again. It's just not worth the money that you're spending on it. Do everything in Meta. It's just way better. Basic ad stuff for everybody. I use Advantage Plus on all my campaigns. Basically, that just means like instead of me picking out like my interests and like demographics and like saying like streetwear, retargeting, all that shit, I just let Meta do all of it. Let me know in the comments if you want a more detailed breakdown on ads and like what Advantage Plus actually is if you're curious. But for today, we're going to keep it pretty simple and just talk about testing. The first thing I want to say is ads are way easier than people talk about now. I think before it might have been harder because you were doing like different audience lists. You were looking at lookalikes and like different email campaigns and things like that. I think for the most part, everyone just tries to overcomplicate how difficult ads actually are to figure out just so they can sell like their agency services, but it's all kind of bullshit. Like the only big thing that matters on ads is how good your ads are. I think in the month of January, I tested around 30 different ads for a total of like 3 products. These were the ones that have been the most successful and they're doing really well. This one's got us 138 sales, almost $13,000 from just this one video of me talking about the jacket. And then even the other ones, like a basic mock-up of the jacket is still getting us like 3.5K in sales. So we spent $1,000 and got back 3.5. This is a very basic ad. Like if your product doesn't look good in the first place, this ad is never going to get you sales. This is what I mean by ads aren't that complicated. Like I literally just took the picture we have on the website, put it in an ad, and it got us $3,000. Like if you look at this, we have like a model video, we have an influencer video, we have like the basic streetwear where it's just the shirt on the ground or something video. We have mock-up photos. We have a video of me talking about the clothes. We run all these different types of ads because the same way you're looking for that winning product, you're looking for the winning ad that you can spend most of your money on. You need to test out different things and see which ones are going to be best for your brand because for every brand, it's always going to look a little bit different. The strategy that I use for testing is pretty simple. Meta has this page called the ads library where you can basically just look up any brand and see all the ads that they're actively running because if a brand is still running the ad, it's probably doing well because if it wasn't doing well, they would have turned it off. Basically, this is all I do. I just look at the ads library and look at brands that I think are doing really well, look at what they're running things on, and then just try to replicate those for my own brand and then test out different options to see which one works. But yeah, that's basically all I did to get to 45K in sales. Like it really wasn't that much work. Most of it was done beforehand, right? Because like we did all the work for planning our products in January. Ultimately, I think setting up the ads probably took maybe 2 hours at the very most. The majority of the work is definitely spent on like getting the influencers, getting the right products, because once you have those foundations set up, it makes it way easier to sell your product in the future. I know there's a lot of guys that make these type of videos and talk about how they make like 5 figures a month off just organic, but I don't know, that shit just doesn't work anymore. Like if you're an influencer and you already have 100K or 200K on Instagram, you probably don't need ads starting out because you already have an audience of like 100K. But I literally started from 0 followers. I didn't have any connections in fashion or e-com. I just figured this shit out on my own, which is why I know those same strategies probably work for you because it's the same way that I went from like $3,000 months to $3,000 days. But yeah, that's everything I did. I might have gone a little over the 8 minutes I said I was going to do, but hopefully this was helpful and not just a bunch of yapping. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent on YouTube as well. Peace.